Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Today I want to talk about maybe a bit of a touchy subject. So I might get a little feedback, and that's okay. I want to talk about relationships and, um, you know, the premise of having a perfect relationship. Can we do that? Is that possible? Um, and obviously, this is controversial because there's a lot of different varied opinions about what relationships are supposed to be like and how we interact with people. And, is there anyone in the world who believes the same things that I do and therefore falls in line with my expectations of what I presume they're going to be like or do with their life? So let's start off with how do we look for, or what do we look for in a mate, or in any relationship for that matter? A lot of times people come from the position of wanting someone who fills in the blanks for them. I have, I'm kind of missing this part of my life, or I don't have this aspect that I'm hoping someone else will fill in for me. Now, some of the things, are physically related. In other words, women kind of look for a man who is strong so that he can do the heavy, the heavy lifting kind of thing. Men often look for women who, can cook and clean and organize things for them. That's not always the case. I'm, a very, I think, very organized person, although sometimes I let things get out of hand. The thing is that when you are looking for someone in a relationship or looking for a relationship with someone, if you have the expectation that they are going to make you happy, you're going to be disappointed. No one can make you happy. You're the only one who can choose to be happy or not. And now, people say, well, how can I be happy when, the blockhead is doing this all the time? And that, pisses me off. And I'm not going to be happy with that. He leaves his dirty clothes or his socks, or his shoes, or he doesn't, take the garbage out when, I ask him to, that kind of thing. So again, you have a choice of, seeing the beauty in someone rather than seeing the things that you perceive as inadequate or not satisfying, or and sometimes we come across people who at first we think, hey man, this person is beautiful, they're perfect, they hung the moon. And when you first start interacting with someone, you are looking for and expecting to find the good in them. You're looking for, yeah, what can I see about this person that is attractive, that makes me want to be with them? And then once you get to know them a bit, you start seeing the things that are not so attractive about them. And that's when you have the choice you can make. Do I accept this aspect of that person and still see the beauty of them and the perfection of them? Whenever you feel uncomfortable at any time, it doesn't matter whether it's in relationship with, in relation to someone else, or in relation to something in your life, whenever you feel disenchanted, it's because you're not connected with your source. And your source always sees the perfection in everything that's going on, whether it's a person or whether it's an aspect of your life or whether it's a situation. The reason it's in your life is because Source is giving it to you so that you can learn and expand. We've come here for expansion. And so when, sometimes when, if people have been in relationships and, they've come out of a relationship and now they're looking for a new one, often the way they approach that is, well, I don't want this in that person because that's what I saw in that last person and I don't want that anymore. I want something different. Well, obviously then what you're focused on is what you don't want. And so the law of attraction is if you're focused on something you don't want, that's what you're going to get, more of it. Because the universe doesn't know not, it only knows positive. Okay. So if you are, if you're on, searching for a date and okay, so I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want the other thing. And so that's what's going to show up for you. But if you instead focus on, this is what I do want. If you create a vision about how it's going to look when you find that perfect partner and you're just looking at them makes you tingly and starts to get your energy flowing. And all the wonderful things that you're going to do together and the conversations that you're going to have when you focus on that and write it all down. This is what it's going to look like when I have this, when I'm in this relationship, when I am living with this person who I absolutely adore and who complements who I am. And together we're growing. This is how wonderful it's going to be. Then that's what the universe is going to give you because that's what you're focused on. You're going to attract exactly what you want and what you desire, right? And then, of course, what happens is because we're here to expand and to grow, that's what life is all about. Sometimes we change. The things that I enjoyed, the things that I desired, and the things that I believed in were completely different when I was 20 years old than they were when I was 30, and then when I was 40, and then when I was 50, and then when I was 60. It changes continuously because that's what growth is all about. So you're in a relationship, you're with your high school sweetheart, you've been married for X number of years, and all of a sudden you realize that you maybe don't agree on things quite the way you used to, or maybe you don't see things the same, or you in psychological aspects, or you grow apart because each of you is changing, and the universe is giving you things that are moving you in the direction that you need to go for your personal growth. And sometimes the partner that you're with is not on that same path, same track. And so they're going in a different direction. When we get married, the vows are, I'll be with you in sickness and in health forever until we die kind of thing is really kind of a, how is that possible to put yourself into a situation where I'm committed to you no matter how gross and bad things are going to get. If it's horrible, I'm still going to stay. Why would we want that? Our purpose here is to experience joy and to expand through that joy and to spread that joy among the people that we're with, so that we, enhance our environment and the world around us. And so sometimes when you find you're in a situation, a relationship with someone, and you've become so disjointed that every day is a struggle, and every time you think or look at them, it's unpleasant. Maybe you need to look at, what can I do to change this a bit? So our responsibility is to be as much as we can be, and that's going to come out of our joy, our happiness. And so, first of all, when we're starting to look for someone, we have to come from a place where we understand that we're completely fulfilled in ourselves. We're not looking for someone to support us, someone to make us happy, someone to fill in a blank of our life. We are already complete in who we are, because so getting in touch with your source will show you that, yes, you can have anything you want, you can create anything you want, so you are complete. It's only by your desire and your willingness to grow into that desire that makes you complete. And then when you come from that position, now you can say, okay, so I'm looking for someone who can coexist with me as a complete person, and together we expand each other. So we grow exponentially, rather than just me growing on my own. I now have someone who supports my growth, and I support their growth, and together we grow again. When you're in a situation where your partner, becomes disagreeable, like I say, you get to a situation where things are just, uncomfortable all the time, then you have to look at, how can I start to shift who I am so that I am in the position of joy and always looking for love and completion. So you have to go back to, what do I appreciate most about this person? How can I see this person as I saw them when we first met? How can I begin to shift my thoughts and ideas about them to see the beauty of them? And if that becomes an impossible situation, then, some of the things that you could do is, before you go to sleep at night, you envision what it's going to look like when the relationship that you have is perfect. And, perfection is kind of, obviously a vague thing, because it's going to change as you grow. The perfection is going to, look a little different. But so when you're going to sleep, you envision, this is how my life is going to look when everything is as the universe wants it, and I am in full joy, and the person that I'm with is desirable and is contributing to my expansion. And so then when you wake up, you continue with that thought. You hold on to, okay, so this is how I felt before I was going to sleep. You hang on to that as long as you can. Someone joined. Hi, how are you? And as you continue to do that night after night after night, you'll find that what will happen is that the person that you're in relationship with will either begin to shift to, hey, good morning, Maddie, will begin to shift to, your vision of how wonderful and beautiful they are, or if that's not possible for them because they're growing in a different direction, things will change for them so that they no longer are part of your experience, and you will attract what is the right resonance for you. But it all comes from where you are. There's no way that you're going to change who you're with except by seeing them as perfect and seeing the things that you love in them, and thereby seeing more of that and bringing more of that out in them. If that's not possible for them, then you will get to a situation where you'll grow apart, and the universe will create that shift so that it works out for everyone, for the good of everyone, whatever happens. And you have to believe in that. It's like, if I come from a position of, I am working on myself and I am always in a state of joy, no matter what the situation is, then joyful situations will come into my life because that's what I'm attracting. But I have to have a clear vision of that. And at first it's going to be difficult to shift from, I dislike this person and everything they're doing, and I can't stand looking at them kind of thing, to either they leave your environment or you bring out in them the things that you love. So I think that when we learn to love who we are and respect who we are as an extension of the universe that is always joyful and expanding, it's only then that we can attract that into our life. So when you think of wedding vows, I think that vows should, instead of, I'll put up with you through sickness and health for the rest of my life, it will be, my intention is to be the perfect person that I am, and to remain in harmony with Source so that I am always joyful. And it's my desire that you are in that situation too, where I always support you in connecting with your Source so that you are the best and the happiest that you can be. And if that's my desire for you, and I continue to be the best that I can be, we are always going to be in harmony. And if it looks like we're on different paths, then we'll be able to go our separate ways without harm to each other. If we continue on the same path together, fantastic. We'll continue to grow together. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for that attitude, but I don't believe that we as human beings need to keep ourselves in a situation where we are continuously unhappy. It's our It's our responsibility to always be joyful. And, you know, and a lot of times you're in a situation where, how can I be joyful in this situation? Again, it's a choice. You have to refocus on any aspect that's joyful to you. And it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with that particular circumstance. It could be, you know, I am joyful for having a relationship with this other person who is a wonderful person, and that's bringing me joy. Or I have, you know, joy, you know, just thinking about my parents and you know, or you know, some situation in my life that has, you know, brought me joy. But continually realigning yourself with what makes you happy and expressing that is going to bring more of that into your life. So I've gone way over time. I am apologetic for that. No, not apologetic for that. I think that this is something that a lot of people need to hear. And that's why I do these broadcasts. So you guys have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you again next Monday at 6:45.